I'd like to thank everybody for coming today to our open house. It is so exciting to see people, and I'm so excited to be able to talk to you guys about sugar and carbohydrates and how they play a role in our diet. And once you understand about how carbohydrates are affecting our bodies and what carbohydrates do for us, it can change the way you eat and how you're looking at food, and it makes a huge difference. Okay, so I'm just going to give you some basic information. I handed you out the paper. You can read the first page. We're going to go over the second page together, okay? The dangers of sugar in your diet. Sugar, particularly added sugars, is a significant concern for modern health. While naturally occurring sugars found in fruits and vegetables are not harmful, the added sugar to processed foods is a different story. High sugar intake has been linked to numerous health problems, including obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even some cancers. It's important to understand not just the impact of sugar, but also how to reduce it in your diet. The health risks of excess sugar. Excessive sugar consumption contributes to weight gain by adding extra calories with little to no nutritional value. These additional calories can lead to obesity, which is a risk factor to many chronic conditions such as heart disease and diabetes. In fact, studies have shown that high sugar intake can cause insulin resistance, a key factor in the development of type 2 diabetes. Sugar also increases the risk of heart disease. High amounts of sugar in the diet can raise levels of triglycerides and bad cholesterol while lowering levels of good cholesterol. This creates a perfect storm for cardiovascular problems. Moreover, sugar can weaken the immune system and contribute to inflammation in the body, leading to a higher susceptibility to infections and slower recovery. We talk about that a lot as far as autoimmune disease is concerned. Sugar contributes to inflammation in the body. I don't care who you are, it is, and it's even particularly more dangerous for people with autoimmune diseases. If you've been told you have an autoimmune disease, you should be watching your sugar intake, okay? And we're going to talk about that too, the sugar intake. How much sugar is too much? The World Health Organization recommends that no more than 10% of your daily calorie intake should come from added sugars. For a person consuming 2,000 calories per day, this equals about 50 grams or about 12 teaspoons of sugar. However, the average American consumes closer to 70 to 100 grams per day, far exceeding these recommendations. To reduce your sugar intake, start by cutting out sugary drinks like sodas and sweetened coffees. Choose whole foods such as fruits, vegetables, and whole grains instead of processed snacks. When buying packaged food, always check the labels for added sugars. The less processed your food is, the easier it will be to avoid excess sugar. Okay? Cutting back on sugar is one of the most beneficial steps you can take for your health. By understanding the dangers of excess sugar and making conscious changes to your diet, you can significantly reduce your risk of chronic diseases and improve your overall well-being. Okay, so if you guys want to flip your page over there, we're going to talk about some things that sometimes people have no idea. Okay, so people come into and do like a consult with me. The first thing they'll tell me is, I say to them, well, how much sugar do you think you eat? And they're like, oh, no, I don't eat any sugar. I don't put sugar in my coffee. I don't put sugar here. I try to stay away from sugar itself. Okay. But how many people know that carbohydrates, whether it's breads or pastas or rice, those type of things, they are sugar. They break down in the body like sugar. So you could have a nice big chocolate candy bar here and you're saying, oh, that's bad, I won't eat that because it's sugar. But you could also have 2 slices of bread that's really good for you and has all nuts and seeds and all this stuff, and they contain the same amount of sugar. The body has no idea if you're eating a chocolate candy bar or 2 slices of white bread, or wheat bread sometimes, okay? So this calculation will help you so much when you're picking food out and when you're eating, okay? Sometimes it gets pretty, I don't know what word I want to use. You get really kind of disgusted because you're like looking at it and you're like, I have 2 slices of bread and had 6 teaspoons of sugar. My body just turned that into 6 teaspoons of sugar, all right? So here's an easy calculation. You can just see how much sugar you actually eat, okay? Would you eat 10 teaspoons of sugar? No. Would you even eat 1 teaspoon of sugar? But if you drank 1 can of pop, sweetened pop, Pepsi, whatever, do you know that you are drinking 10 teaspoons of sugar in that 1 can of pop? That's scary, especially for our young people today. This is what they live on, sugary drinks. And then they don't even have a can of it. You go to McDonald's or whatever, they get those big gulpers or whatever. I'm like, holy smokes. There has to be 30 teaspoons of sugar in that, okay? And we're all young and we all want to have fun, but I think that this becomes a problem. Like, I'm old, so growing up, there weren't even that kind of things around. You know, there was a McDonald's you went to, but there wasn't. And then, you know, things were sweetened with sugar. They weren't sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, which is even more deadly, and that's another whole talk on itself. Okay, so below is the calculation you can to determine how many teaspoons of sugar are the foods that you're eating. But here's a few important notes. All sugars come from carbohydrates. So when you look at a thing, everything that you eat should have an ingredient label in it, or they call it nutrition facts. It's going to be on back here, okay? Good, premium, long grain rice, delicious, and we all love Chinese food, right? Oh, my people. When you get your calculations, you'll be like, okay, I'm going to have this, but I'm not going to eat for 2 days, right? Again, all sugars, all carbohydrates break down into sugar in the body. Okay, this is a really important thing to learn. It's important to learn and then to read your ingredients. Not all carbohydrates are created equal. Vegetables are wonderful carbohydrates. Foods made with flour and sugar are not. The more fiber a carbohydrate has, the better. So we're going to take the carbohydrate count in whatever we're eating, and we're going to subtract the fiber out. And then that's how we find out how much sugar's in there, okay? I'll give you some examples here. Fiber slows down the rate at which the sugar is released into the bloodstream. So your mom always said, eat your vegetables, right? And she's right. Here's a calculation. Grab a food label and find the amount of total carbohydrates in grams. So we're going to look at this. I got to get my glasses on, guys. My other glasses. You can tell I'm getting old. I got to get my other glasses on. Sorry. Okay. So once again, this is rice. Rice is really, really full of carbohydrates, just to let you know. Everybody thinks it's so healthy, and even brown rice is really good. It's a little less. It has more fiber in it, but it's still full of carbs. Okay, just so you know. So if we were to have 1/4 cup, this would be dry, 1/4 cup. And when you cook rice, it's going to be double that. So it's going to be about 1/2 cup. Most of us eat 1/2 cup of rice when we go out to eat. Most of us eat more. They're given more. Let's say the portions are huge. But that's what the portion would be. So that would be total carbohydrates, and that 1/2 cup is 35 grams. 35 grams of carbs. Unfortunately, there are no fiber in this, so we can't take that out. So we're going to divide 5 into 35, which is what? 6. 6 teaspoons of sugar are in that 1/2 cup of rice. Now, that doesn't count your General Tso's that has tons of sugar in it and whatever else that you're eating with the sugar in it, okay? So this is a perfect example to show you. There's your 6 teaspoons. What are they saying? About 10. 10 is what you should have, and that's on a 2,000 calorie diet. They're even saying to the point where women probably should only eat between 6 and 7 teaspoons. So here is almost your whole, your daily allowance of what you would be allowed to have in a carbohydrate, okay? Now here's something good. One of my patients brought me 3 bottles of this Primal Kitchen. Yeah, it's pretty good. You can have this. 2 tablespoons. We're going to look at this. Total carbohydrate is 2 grams of carbs. There's no fiber in it, but 2 divided by 5 is what it's less than. So there are no carbohydrates in 2 tablespoons of this Primal Kitchen Caesar salad dressing. Yeah.
Yeah, tastes good.
That's an option. It's a great option, yes. Yeah. And they make, this Primal Kitchen makes, I think she brought me 3 different kinds. So.
Where do you get it at? Is it Whole Foods?
I think you can get it at Whole Foods. She just had it mailed to her house on Amazon. She got on Amazon and ordered it, and it was sent right to her house. Well, she brought it into me, but yeah. There you go. She knows.
Try it.
Have I tried it? I haven't tried it, but I hear it's very good.
It is good.
Here's the thing, when I want to tell you, it's made with avocado oil. Most salad dressings are made with what? Canola oil. Mm-hmm. Seed oils, everybody's finding out these seed oils are going to go. We need to get rid of them out of our diets. And everybody has them. Everybody has them there. They're cooking with corn oil. There was a time when they told us these are the healthiest oils for you. And we ate them. You know, my mom used to have a potato chip can. But it was, I don't know, some kind of potato chips. I don't know what they were, but it was like hydrogenated vegetable oil on it. It was the new thing, right? It was the worst thing in the world for us. Okay. And so as you go on, here's some cassava flour, people that are do the diet, the paleo diet. This is allowed, but I want to tell you there's 28 grams in a 1/4 cup serving. So if you were going to make a tortilla, that's about what it would be. And we're going to take 3 grams out for fiber. So that gives you what, 25? Yes.
I just heard on TV that has lead in it.
Does it?
Yep.
Oh, well.
We're saying to stay away from it now.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I'll have to look at this brand. Hopefully not. I have not even opened it
It's
yet.
that particular type of flour.
Yeah, cassava. Well, there's a lot of different things out there. This one says it's non-genetically modified. I don't know. It is not organic. If you would get an organic one, this is 100% yucca root. And that does make sense that it has metals in it because it's in the ground. I don't know what we're going to eat anymore. Yeah, but we are surprised to learn a lot of times how much carbohydrates in something we're eating. Now this is bread, my husband's favorite. It's whole grain, right? 15 grain, 10 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, and 46 grams of whole grain. Doesn't that sound so healthy? And I'm not saying it's not healthy. I think it's probably okay. But when it comes to teaspoons of sugar, just one slice, so most of us are going to eat 2, right? One slice is 20 grams of carbohydrates minus 3. So it's 17. 17 divided by 5 is what? Yep. So double that. So you're getting approximately 3 goes into 15. What? 3 times? Yeah, that'd be 15, 3, 6 teaspoons of sugar in 2 slices of this really good whole grain, wonderful bread. That's what you're getting, 6 teaspoons of sugar. Oh, my Lord. That's why you see people when they don't eat bread, they're gluten-free. And it's not they're gluten-free because they have an issue with gluten. They're just gluten-free because of this. Okay? Well, I'm glad you're going to talk. Okay, so other than that, the calculations there. So how much sugar do we need at any given time of the day? We need about 1 teaspoon of sugar in our bloodstream. So please don't starve yourself. You should eat. Eating is not bad. God wanted us to eat. But we should roughly ingest 10 to 12 teaspoons of sugar a day. No, not table sugar, but the sugars in these things, whether they come from vegetables, whether they're coming from pastas or rice or anything like that, any of these. Even if they're whole, it's like, oh, that's, it's brown rice and it's whole grain bread. But just like I said, that bread has everything in it, like you can imagine. But it still turns to sugar, okay? That's what we're talking about. And nuts and legumes, those carbohydrates are the ones. So sometimes whenever people come in, they come in to me, I'll tell them the protein, start with protein. Protein doesn't contain carbohydrates. So your cheeses and your nuts and your seeds, your meats, high quality meat, you want to stick with that. Eggs that are so expensive now, I think they're coming down. But this is what I'm saying. These are the kinds of things. And as we age, you really should make sure that you get protein. Protein's really important as we age, okay? And anybody that is taking the semaglutide shots or on a diet sort of type thing, they're really limiting stuff. We have to be careful of that. The protein is number 1 when it comes to the GLP-1s. Protein is number 1. You have to get that protein in you. Yogurt is another good one. Don't buy the yogurt with all the crap in it. You want to buy plain yogurt, put some nuts and berries in there and maybe some honey or maple syrup. Those are natural sugars. They are still sugar though. They're carbohydrates and they're going to turn, but not nearly as fast as white table sugar does, okay? And it's saying here that many people ingest upwards of 100 teaspoons of sugar a day. This is unacceptable and extremely unhealthy. Sugar is in excess is toxic and inflammatory and addictive. That's another talk about how they've taken people's brains and put, looked at them after they had sugar and it lit up just like they were if they were on cocaine. Excess sugar is a major cause, if not the cause, of just about every chronic health condition and epidemic this country faces. Okay, any questions? Thank you for coming.